Hi, welcome to The Pursuit of Truth. Still the 3rd of May, another quick one. I just listened to, I think it might have been a slightly edited version of BBC Radio 2's Jeremy Vine show, where he was talking about the subject Flat Earth. At least he was a little bit more serious in his tone, but then that's because I guess he is a former, or may still be, a reporter, especially politics. But it did have the same kind of things that, I mean, we must make a tick box thing of this. They mentioned like falling off the edge, finding the edge, all that kind of thing. They had a space expert. I don't know who a space expert would be, especially from this country, who scoffed and laughed. It was like it was some P.G. Wodehouse 1950s character, just scoffing and laughing at the fact that people still believe in the flat Earth, and quoting as they did on this morning, the Greeks 2,000 years ago or wherever it was found out the Earth was round. So we're basing our knowledge on some people from 2,000 years ago. Whereas this is the problem. Like, no matter what, if what you can see yourself doesn't match up with what other people tell you, then there's a problem, isn't there? The other thing I was thinking of is they were talking about, the edge and stuff, and a bit about why I was talking about the kitchen bowl thing, which is that the Earth must be a container of some sort. Whether you believe it's globe or flat Earth, it is a container, isn't it? Because water, if you believe it's on like in a kitchen bowl, it has those sides, isn't it? Those sides keep the water in. Now that kitchen bowl, it has the curve, but the water is flat. But the water, if it didn't have those edges, it would just float off. Like if you were to tip water on an actual ball, it would fall down the sides. If you had on that ball, bits of wood on the sides all the way around, that water would fill up. So it is a container because water has to be contained. So the thing is, looking at the pictures that NASA send of the Earth, unless I'm wrong, how is that water contained? Because we have continents, we have a core, and those continents are attached to that core, isn't it? But those continents are too far apart. They don't make like a container. So I don't know how that water would stay in, let alone the fact it bends. Even though water doesn't bend when you look at it. So I don't know how they work that out. Whereas now obviously we don't have another model of what the world looks like other than the globe. Well, I suppose we don't even have that, because that's based on if it's not true, then it's based on lies anyway. So we don't really have any understanding of what we live on. But if it is like people suggest it could be, ice all the way around, and that's what's keeping it contained. But whatever it is, water has to be contained. We do know that ourselves. If there's a hill, that water will run down that hill, won't it? It's not just going to stay there and pile up. The only reason it would stay there and pile up is if there was something like a well, say, on the top, and that's got 4 walls and it's containing it. And then it doesn't matter what the surface is. It doesn't matter whether the surface is flat or curved concave, or whichever way it's curved. It doesn't matter as long as it has those sides to contain it. So that was one thing I was thinking of. Anyway, so Jeremy Vine, back to him. Yeah, so there was a few people on there. They did, I think, a better job trying to convince him. But obviously, this was the other thing I was thinking of. Is always the presenters of these things are always obviously they follow the line. They're traditionalists. They follow the tradition, the story that everyone believes. It'd be interesting if ever in the BBC someone big, or in a different television channel other than InfoWars, would take it from that point of view, would say, well, say Jeremy Vine was a flat earther and he came out on BBC Radio 2 and said, we're going to talk about why people think that the Earth is round. or at least he would talk about flat Earth, but he would be the one who would actually believe in it. But it's always the other way round. So you can never win, really. If the person in control is anti whatever you're talking about, how can you ever... I mean, you can persuade other people, but he'll always have an upper hand on you because he's controlling the conversation. But it would be nice if there would be someone who's well known, who's respected, and who is in the field of the media, whether it's presenting or whatever, and actually could have this debate. It'll be interesting to see how people would react. Whether would he be able to convince people just because he believed in it. Like at the moment, when people listen to Jeremy Vine, he doesn't believe in the flat Earth. People, when they listen to him, it doesn't matter who's talking about it, as long as he toes the line and laughs at them and says, "Oh, where's the edge?" and "Oh, they don't even believe in gravity," or "Oh, we got proof that the Earth is round," and all those things that he said. If he says those things, then at the end you believe him. But if it was the other way around, if he was a flat earther, or conspiracist, or whatever you want to call him, truther, and then he said, the opposite to that, would people then question things? Is that why we don't see those people? Probably, isn't it? Because if it was someone like me, or Del, or Des, or Jamie, or Rebecca, or Dave, or Pete Shea, or Poncho Pete, or whoever else, any of the Ollie Damagard, any of the flat earthers, any of the truthers, Eric Dubay, whatever, if it was any of them that had the presenter, whatever, and they were the media, as it were, the representation of that, we would believe, isn't it? Because they have the control. We do follow people. People idol worship, for a better term, celebrity. There's people who dress like they're celebrities, people who act like they're celebrities, people who follow on every word and want to become like them. Because we do, as a species, try to assimilate, to fit in. So maybe that's why we've never seen anyone who does believe in these alternative, if you want to call it that way, in charge of their own television or radio program. And that's why we're on YouTube instead. Anyway, yeah, so it was a little bit better, but it didn't really help, and because the thing is, it wasn't a fair playing field for an argument, because obviously he had two people in who were flat earthers, and he had a lady who was space expert, who was obviously for the globe, and then he read out things, but his position wasn't neutral, even though he did try sometimes to be neutral. He was obviously pro globe, so obviously that was never going to be a fair thing. Anyway, let's see what else is going to come. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.